We are all made up of different frequencies. And depending on what vibration your frequency is at dictates the life that you actually live. So whether it's a life full of luxury and travel and happiness and you get everything that you desire flowing to you easily, or if it's a life that you are very unlucky and you're very sad and everything just doesn't seem to go your way, that is 110% your choice. And let me explain. You can actually control what frequency you vibrate at. My name is Megan Savage, and before you ask, yes, that's my real last name. And I want to go over today how I went from an overworked, underpaid server who was super depressed. I didn't have any motivation. I was very, very, very sad, guys. I just did not see the light at the end of the tunnel. To a digital entrepreneur, I've completely left the 9-to-5 life, guys. I am healthy. I was able to do over $250,000 in sales. I travel every other month. And most importantly, I'm happy. So I'm going to go over exactly how I was able to manifest and continue to manifest on a daily basis the life that I have today. Now, I guarantee if you follow every single thing that I go over in this video, and I don't mean just listen and take notes, I mean actually implement what I'm going to tell you today, I guarantee you not only will you see a massive change in your life, but you could get better results than I have. So the first thing I want to go over with you guys today is communication. Communication is key. This applies to any relationship, whether it's in this realm or the next, whether you believe in God, the universe, deities, the flying spaghetti monster, whatever you believe in, they also need you to communicate with them as well. Communication is so important. For example, you could have the best skill set when it comes to some type of task or when it comes to some type of knowledge base, but if you do not know how to communicate that effectively, you might as well just know nothing. This is why it's important to know the end goal. It's important to visualize where you want to be. Now, I'm talking a week from now, a month from now, a couple years from now. It's important to know the big picture. How do you expect to win a race if you don't know where the finish line is? It's like asking someone for help but not knowing what you're asking. Get very clear on what you want to accomplish in this life and time frames, and I promise you it will be easier to work towards your dreams. The next thing, so we just got done talking about communication, okay? I need you to speak in the now, and the reason that is I want you to imagine a book, okay? This is how reality works, our realities work. There are multiple realities happening all around us, okay? There is a reality where you have every single thing that you want right now. So imagine a book and a pen. We are on the top page and the pen is us. So when you quickly hit the top page, it doesn't do anything. It might leave a mark, whatever. But if you hold that pen and you press it, it's going to leak into the other pages. And that's the best way I can describe how you can time jump. Now, you probably heard that saying before, but what it means is you're jumping timelines. You are jumping to that timeline where you have the glowing skin, where you have, the hottest man or the girl, where you have the nice car, you retired your family, you have your dream career. That is the life that you want to go to, the peaceful life, the happy life. So when you speak that into fruition, this is why, for example, let's say your goal is to have healthier skin. When you go and you wash your face, you don't say, oh, I hate my skin, I hate my acne, it's so dry. I want you to say, wow, I have glowing, beautiful skin. Not only is this good because the universe is hearing what you want, okay? You're communicating to the universe, but there's also been a test where there were two plants, okay? They had the same light, the same water, everything, but the difference is one person was talking negatively and the other person was talking positively. Why? Because our communication has frequencies. How we communicate has positive or negative frequencies. So those frequencies can either harm or benefit you. So if you're going to speak to yourself, why not speak to yourself kindly? That's why when one of the plants was spoken to negatively and was cursed at and was called bad names and put down, it ended up dying, while the other plant ended up growing way faster than they thought they would because it was receiving positive affirmations and, kind words. So if all that happened to a plant, what do you think happens to us? Especially if we're telling that to ourselves on a daily basis. Now, here's another one. You need to be obsessed with personal development. You need to consistently be a student. You need to be obsessed with knowledge. But more importantly, you need to be very aware of what you're putting into our bodies. For example, I'm not sure if you guys ever watched the movie Super Size Me, but pretty much what this guy did is he ate McDonald's for like 30 days straight, morning, noon, and night. Obviously, you and I both know that it's not good for you, and he wasn't fueling his body with the necessary stuff, with the nutrition, with the vitamins, and he ended up getting sick. The content you consume matters. You need to be watching stuff that elevates you. Yes, don't get me wrong, I love watching those funny funny videos and the dog compilations and whatnot. And I like the video game compilations as well too. But at the end of the day, it's a healthy balance because I have tons of books here beside me that I read, and I have tons of podcasts that I listen to, and I listen to motivational and inspirational people on social media. You need to think about what's fueling your mind. I'm sure you've all heard the term fake news, and it's very, very important because we just got done talking about communication. What we listen to messes with our mind. It changes our perspective because how our mindset is dictates how we talk to ourselves, dictates how we communicate, and that controls our reality. And when you're a student, please be aware that the universe also teaches you things. For example, this leads into my next point. You need to have a positive environment. Now, I work with people internationally, and if you're on my team and watching this, you already know what I'm gonna say, but I have a quote that I lived by and it completely changed my entire life. And it's, if a flower doesn't bloom, do you blame the flower or do you blame the environment? Exactly. So we just got done talking about plants. It sort of goes the same way. You cannot expect a beautiful, delicate flower to live in a terrain full of, dry, evil animals, like whatever. Like, you can't expect the flower to flourish, which means you might need to get rid of people in your life. Unfortunately, a lot of the times this could be people that are close to us, whether that's family, friends, spouses, maybe they're negative towards you. You need to understand that they have a huge impact on your success if you let them. Now, I actually learned this from Patrick Bet-David. If you don't know who he is, go look him up. But he was describing how relationships can actually tie us down in a cool visual way. So I want you to imagine an elastic band. And here's the elastic band and here's you. And you're going, oh my gosh, I want to be a millionaire. I want to go, achieve this goal. I want to go run a marathon, something. And your family's like, you can't do that. You're not fit enough to do that. Why are you even trying? You're wasting time. It holds you down. They push you back to where they're going to be. And when you have multiple people doing that to you, imagine multiple rubber bands to the point where you're never going to move. And I want you guys to really, really think about this. You are the average of the 5 most people you hang around, okay? That's just how it is. So if you're around a bunch of bums, you're gonna end up being the 6th bum. If you're around a bunch of millionaires, ambitious people, people that are obsessed with knowledge and people that are wanting more in life, you are going to be the 6th one of them. In my last point, we talked a lot about the consumption of knowledge. So unfortunately, a lot of people have been indoctrinated at a very young age to believe society works a certain way, or they have limiting beliefs put on them at a very, very young age, and it just bleeds on to the people that are closest to them. I don't know if you've heard the crab in the bucket theory, but pretty much the story is if there is a bucket full of crabs and one crab is trying to climb out, the other crabs will literally grab the crab and put it back. It is just human nature. Now, I'm not saying this about everybody because obviously there's some people that genuinely care about your success and they're trying to give you opinions to make sure that you are safe and your life goes well. 2 things with that. 1, do not take any advice from someone that you do not want to switch lives with. It's nothing personal, but I have a saying, you would not get a pilot to fix your pipes and you wouldn't get a plumber to fly your plane. You should never base your success off someone else. So let's say you're trying to do something, whether that's starting a business or running a marathon or whatever, just because it didn't work for someone else does not mean it will not work for you. And the second thing, like I said, a lot of us have been indoctrinated at a very young age. So think of it this way. Let's say I told you that the sky was green all the way from when you were born till you were an adult, okay? And then someone else came up to you and said, actually, the sky's blue. You'd have a very hard time believing that because you've been grown to believe a specific thing. So just know that is where a lot of people's mindset is, unfortunately. But it's okay because you are not alone and there are a lot of other people that have awoken. They're not NPCs and they have the same thought patterns you do. The last thing I'll say on this, guys, is your relationships should be beneficial for both parties, okay? It should not be draining for one person only. It should not be one person putting all the effort in. If it is, it's taking too much of your time, too much space in your universe, okay? And it does not allow you to vibrate at a higher frequency. Keep in mind, let me give you one more example. Let's say you're in a toxic relationship and you're the type of person that you're like, but I love him, he can change, and you just never leave. You are telling the universe from that frequency that you do not deserve better. And that is not the case. If you want a relationship where they're loving you and they're caring for you and they're nurturing to you, you need to be strong enough to be like, okay, well, this is not what I want, even though it might be with the person you love at the time, but you need to tell the universe that you're willing to do what it takes so you can get what you're asking for, which is why I said earlier, the universe actually teaches you things as well. It gives you lessons. And the lesson is, if you're not going to change what you're doing, if you're not going to leave that toxic situation, it's going to keep happening. Okay. So you need to listen and apply what the universe is teaching you. Now, you've probably heard this before, but the next one is practicing gratitude. Okay. Being grateful. Now, here's the thing. I know that this could actually take some practice, because when, let's say, life is coming at you with obstacles and it's just beating you up, sometimes it's really hard to be grateful. And maybe, let's say you wanted a bigger house and you're living in some like small shoebox and you're like, oh, like I don't have what Tom down the street has. I get it. It's very easy to compare, even though comparison is the killer of joy. But I really want you guys to be grateful for literally everything. And this takes practice. Now, what I mean by that, start small. At night before you go to bed, just be grateful that you have food, that you have a bed, and that you have a roof over your head. And trust me, coming from someone at one point where they did not have a clean, warm bed to go to, it is such a flex, and it's so nice to be able to crawl into bed and, you know, get a good night's sleep. But let me tell you a story. When I 8 times my business in 30 days, I was practicing gratitude every day, every morning, every night, throughout the day. And let me tell you what, I'm originally from Calgary, Alberta. If you don't know where that is, that's on one side of Canada. And right now I'm in Toronto. I've been here for about a year. I was only supposed to be out here for 90 days and I ended up just staying, but that's a different story. But in my first 30 days, okay, I was on one part of the city, and the office that I worked at every day, that I rented with some other entrepreneurs that I came out here to work with for, it was about an hour and a half away, one way, train, bus, and walk. And guys, it was tiring because I wasn't leaving that office some nights till like 3 to 5 a.m. and then I would come back for like 9 to 10 a.m. So I was getting no sleep. Sometimes I would actually sleep at the office. So I was lugging this gym bag around full of my notebooks and my my clothes, extra clothes for the night. Like it was a struggle. And let me tell you what, there was one night I was going home and it was like 4:30 a.m. and you know, I walked by and a sprinkler actually turned on and it soaked me completely. And I started laughing and I pulled out my voice notes on my phone and I just left myself a 5-minute voice note because I wanted to remember that feeling I felt. And I was describing how hungry I was and how tired I was and just, you know, how exhausted working was. And I said how grateful I was for it. I was literally, you could hear the smile while I was talking because I was like, oh my gosh, I am so grateful to be alive to experience this because I know it's going to make me, I'm getting goosebumps, it's going to make me into a stronger person. And guys, I love the come up story, okay? Because that is what truly builds character. Maybe one day I'll play it for you guys, but let me tell you what, it wasn't always like that. I had a really hard time being grateful for things. I was very depressed, like I said. So I had a very hard time putting this into practice. But let me tell you what, you have to manually catch yourself. When you are thinking at a low frequency, everything bad happens to me, nothing's gonna work. Yeah, you're attracting that. So you need to go into a higher frequency and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that I am in this process of building my business and making money. I'm so grateful that I was able to travel across the country, even though I'm tired, but I'm tired because I'm helping other people. That's amazing. And money flows to me effortlessly. And I'm so happy and I'm healthy. Thank you for the 2 legs that I have that allow me to go to the gym and work out. Like, guys, let me tell you what, if you can master this skill, watch how everything you want is going to come to you. Okay, watch this. Now, everything that I have went over today is actually interconnected. And the reason I'm saying this, guys, is because the next thing I'm going to go into is this is super important. But when you say you're going to do something, do it. All right, this builds confidence. Now, the reason this is super important is because when you speak in the now, sometimes you might feel a little bit cringy, like especially, let's go back to the skin example. Let's say you're covered in pimples and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I have beautiful skin. I might feel weird. Or maybe you're a brokey and you're like, oh, I'm a millionaire. Like it might be uncomfortable and unnatural to do right now. But let me tell you what, when you have confidence and you are speaking in the now and you're grateful, that frequency is so high that things just come pouring to you. I remember one time when I was on my frequency stuff, I was at a high vibration. There was money just pouring into my account. My skin looked good. I was losing weight easier. It was absolutely wild, and people were just wanting to be around me. People were wanting to talk to me, and I was building great relationships, and I was so lucky, okay? And so the biggest thing that I want to tell you guys, confidence is actually key. So when you're, building your confidence, some tips I want to give you guys is it's not about maybe looking the best. However, appearance does matter. And if you're when you wear your really nice clothes and your makeup's all done, and guys, like when your haircut is on point and your beard is trimmed, you're wearing that nice cologne, you start to walk and talk different. Yes, it's because your vibration is changing. You look good, so you're walking the walk. So maybe sometimes put on your perfume, or go wear that nice necklace, or just walk around town just feeling good. But the biggest thing I want to tell you about confidence, okay, is it truly just goes down to when you say something, do you do it? And I want you to start with little things, okay? Because for example, if you are on a weight loss journey and you say, hey, I'm going to go to the gym every 5 days or whatever, and then you end up just not going, you start to feel shit about yourself. You start to think that, you're not good, you're not meant to do this, that it will never work for you, and you start to get down into your negative mindset, and that's exactly how you spiral downwards, and everything that I just said just goes out the window. So start with the small things. Let's say you pick something super easy like making your bed every morning. Just doing that small action will make you feel good, and you start doing more and more and more, and to the point where when you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to have a 50K month this month, or you know what, I'm going to retire my mom in a year, or whatever, those don't seem unnatural, and the universe goes, you know what, yeah, okay, like he's confident, it's gonna happen. And let me tell you what, guys, the opposite of confidence is desperation. Now let me paint a picture for you. Ladies, have you ever had that guy who's like, please go out with me, I'm such a nice guy, oh my god, no one likes me, but like it's just, they're just desperate, they're begging you, and it's gross, it ain't it, right? So they repel themselves. And that's the same thing with the universe. If you are desperate, the universe doesn't like that vibration. It's not going to help you. No one's going to save you there. It wants a confident person, okay, I was about to say something else, but it wants a confident person to be like, this is what I want. It wants an alpha male, it wants an alpha female to be like, this is what I want. Something that I'll go more in depth on another video is masculine and feminine energy. My men, okay, to be in your masculine energy is super important, but the energy that is receiving is feminine energy. So do not be scared to step into that. And for my ladies, help out your guy friends, help out your boyfriends, help whoever, but to be in your feminine energy is about receiving and being calm and knowing that everything flows to you easily. Now, I'll get more into that, like I said, in another video, but the last thing that I really want to touch on, guys, and this is the most important step out of absolutely everything, is action. A lot of people forget this, okay? People tend to write down their goals on a piece of paper and burn it or whatever and think it's all gonna come to them. And hey, I love those practices because it's a very visualizing thing, so it helps me see it, but I needed to mix that with literally all the other steps that I just went over because it's really, really important to actually apply what I'm telling you. For example, let's go back to the weight loss journey. If you manifested that you want to lose 20 pounds in 2 months, that's great, but are you actually doing the action? Have you removed all your junk food out of your fridge and out of your cabinets? Are you actually going to the gym? Are you, maybe telling your friends, hey, don't feed me the pizza on girls' night because I'm really focused on these goals? Have you taken the necessary action, or are you just saying it? Another example, let's say you're super ambitious and you're like, hey, I want to be my family's first millionaire. I want to retire my parents. I want to retire my friends. I want to be speaking on stages internationally. I want to run a 7-figure business all online, whatever. Let's say those are your goals. Have you taken the necessary steps? Or are you always going, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start next week. I'll start when I'm ready. Are you scared to make an investment into yourself? Because let me tell you what, I have seen this time and time again. People are saying, like me, for example, they're like, you know what, Megan, you travel all the time. I want to, like, you're living my life. I want to be like you. Like, I have the same mindset. And I'm like, great. So these are the steps that I've done. And they're like, like they're a little bit scared. And I'm not just saying for me, I've seen it with multiple people in the entrepreneurship space. They're just not taking the necessary steps because they're scared. That is a bad vibration to be at, guys. Fear is not a good vibration. And I'm not saying don't be scared, but the difference difference is I did it scared. I was terrified and I still did it because I knew that those were the actions I needed to take in order to get what I say that I'm going to get. And trust me, if you keep pushing stuff off, there will always be a reason to not start that business, to not go on the trip, to not talk to that guy, to not, start your fitness journey. There'll always be a reason to not do it. But that is the point of manifestation, is making it come into fruition. The reason people say manifestation doesn't work is because they're only doing maybe like being grateful and speaking it in the now, but they're not actually doing anything, guys. Let me just tell you, I was a person that thought I was super unlucky, that nothing good could happen to me. And guys, at one point in my life, I was actually thinking of ending my life. But because I actually applied what I'm telling you now, I was able to completely change my life. I am no different than you, which is why I'm even doing this video, because it is 110% possible for you to achieve every single thing that you've ever wanted. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, guys, I guarantee that if you follow this, you will see success. Now make sure to send this video to your friends that have been trying to manifest that dream life, and maybe you guys can hold each other accountable, especially going into 2024. It's good to have that accountability partner. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and remember, we savage, we ain't average, and I'll see you on the next video.